Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Ali Aftakhar. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So let's talk about how and when and where I got the jobs. You see, everybody, you come to Canada, everybody's telling you that there are a lot of unemployed people, unemployed youth, unemployed PRs, which is kind of true. But at the same time, if you want to get employed, there are plenty. How do they say it in IELTS language? A plethora of opportunities are there. Okay, so when I came in, first I'll give you updates, then I'll give you the tips. So I looked for my connections, anybody from my village, anybody from my town, anybody from my district. Okay, who is now a Canadian PR. So I got into contact with them, and through that connection that I made, that I figured out a connection, right? So he had a restaurant here. Okay, it's called Burger Factory. Burger Factory is a chain, a fast food chain. You will find it in GTA. So he had this restaurant, and he asked me to come work for him. Okay, because he was looking for a manager, a full-time manager. Okay, so on my 4th day in Canada, like I arrived on Friday evening. It was the weekend, obviously everything was closed, Saturday, Sunday, but still I got my bank accounts. On Monday I got my SIN number, and on Wednesday I started working at that restaurant. I didn't think twice, I didn't blink an eye, and I started working. So they started paying me $15.50. That is the minimum wage, right? So $15.50 is what they started paying me. Now I was living in Mississauga at that time, Aaron Mills. I made a house tour video as well. But after that, I moved to Brampton. After 10 days, I moved to Brampton. But it wasn't like the heart of Brampton. It was more like the boundary, the border of Brampton, where Mississauga and Brampton they meet. So it is Steeles Avenue. Okay, so this is where I started living, and the problem that I was facing was I had to commute daily, 2 hours one way. So 4 hours a day was the traveling period, and if I miss a bus, then it could be 5 hours in a day's commute. Okay, plus I was working like 8 hours, 10 hours, 6 hours. I started off as 6 hours because I told them, now here's a tip. So if you get a minimum wage job, don't say no. Just show your availability for the weekend. So for the evenings. Okay, so I gave them my availability at 5 to 11. Okay, so my point was that during the daytime, in the morning, I can go for an interview. I can apply for the jobs that I'm looking for in my field, right? So this is what I did almost every day. I would repeat this, like get on my laptop, start applying for the jobs, start connecting with the people, appear for interviews at different places. So this is what I did in the start. Then I got an opportunity to volunteer. So volunteering is basically, everybody can do it. You just have to look up online volunteering opportunities in Toronto, in Ontario, or wherever you are. Like if you are in Calgary, then you can look up on Google volunteering opportunities in Calgary, and you'll find them. So I started volunteering for Epilepsy Toronto. Okay, because it's a good cause. I have a niece who has epilepsy because of my brain tumor. I was diagnosed as a potential risk of epileptic episodes. So this was a cause that was closer to my heart. So I started volunteering for Epilepsy Toronto. Plus the best thing was that the volunteering was in Nathan Phillips Square, which is, I mean, the place, the ice rink with the Toronto sign. Okay, so I started volunteering there. Plus I was working part-time for this job as well. It wasn't really part-time, like I was working 6 hours a day for 6-7 days a week. Yeah, so it was like 40 hours every week, but it was only in the evenings. Then I got this opportunity to work at No Frills. Now No Frills is, why I chose No Frills? It was closest to my house. Like if I get out of my house in Brampton, No Frills is the first sign of commercial life that I'm going to see. So I went there. Now here's the tip as well. So I went there. I didn't have my CV on me. I just went in and I talked to the girl. Her name is Simran. Yeah, very nice girl. So she wouldn't be watching it, but hi Simran. So I told her that I am looking for a job. Are you guys open? She said yes, we are open. We're looking for a guy for the morning shifts. So I was like, in the evening I'm working at Burger Factory, in the mornings I'm free, I can do that. So I said, okay, yes, I want to do that. But what happened was, I asked her to meet the hiring manager. Now this is tricky. People just go to a restaurant and they leave, they literally throw their resume at the person, whoever is at the counter. They just throw their resume that, okay, please keep my resume. They're not interested in knowing that whether the job is open, what kind of job it is, what is their availability, and most importantly, who's the hiring manager. They don't meet the hiring manager. They just meet somebody who's at the countertop. So even in Burger Factory, every other day, there's a kid walking in and is looking for a job. She's looking for a job, and they just give me the resume. I put that resume in the drawer, and I'm not sure if the owners, they come and they look at those resumes. I don't think so they do, right? So whenever you apply for minimum wage jobs, make sure that you meet the hiring manager in person and you hand over your resume to the person, to that hiring manager. And it's Canada, so it's your legal right to see the hiring manager. Nobody can tell you that no, you can't meet the hiring manager. You actually can meet him or her. Okay. So she said that hiring manager is not available right now. So the next day I showed up again. I asked for the hiring manager. The hiring manager said that no, it is Saturday, so I'm very busy. So come back on Monday. Okay. He didn't see me, he just sent me a message. So I went back on Monday, again, third time. I went back and I saw that hiring manager. He's basically born in Canada, but his parents are from West Indies, Guyana. So I met him and he talked to me and he was like, okay, so what's your availability? What's your background? So I told him. He said, yeah, okay, go ahead. And he also told me that it starts at minimum wage, but I see potential in you. So in the near future, you'll get a very good opportunity from within No Frills, because he said that we do internal hiring. We don't hire people from outside and then promote them. Rather, we promote people from within. That's what he said. So then they asked me that when can you start? So I said, like, I can start right away. But then the HR, the lady who takes care of HR in that No Frills. So every No Frills is different. It's like a franchise. Okay. So that lady, she said that next payroll starts from Monday, so he should start from Monday. And that's what I did. I started from Monday. So after 3 weeks, rather after 2 weeks of working, of being in Canada, of landing my first minimum wage job at Burger Factory, I started working at No Frills. So now I was working 2 jobs a day, right? So No Frills would schedule me in the mornings for 3 days, for 4 days. And for the 5 days, for the rest of the 5 days, I worked at Burger Factory. In between 2 days would be crisscrossing each other, and I would have to come back home at 1 a.m. and then wake up at 6 a.m. and then go to No Frills. This is what I had to do for two weeks. Then my first month in Canada got completed, and I had appeared in an interview. How did I find that job? Through WhatsApp groups. So there are WhatsApp groups, plenty of WhatsApp groups. So if you ask anybody who's a new immigrant, he'll give you 2, 3, 4 WhatsApp groups that he's part of or she's part of, right? So one of those WhatsApp groups, there was this job in sales. and it said that it is minimum wage. So I was like, okay, let's go with it, because it's a job in sales, so it's in my field, so it doesn't matter if it is minimum wage. I'm already doing minimum wage. So I went there. I went into the interview. There were two interview takers. One was the HR manager, one was the director of that company. So they took my interview, and we had a little chat about my background, about what I wanted to do in Canada. I mean, the most common question is, what is your expectation of salary? So this is something you need to be prepared of. I know a person who just came into Canada. When he was asked this question, he had no idea what to respond. Okay, so I told them that, okay, since it's my first job in Canada, so I'm expecting 60,000 a year. So they were like, okay, so 60,000 is okay, so your net income would be around 3,900 a month. So how about we give you 3,300 a month? Like, I'm being open with you guys, right? Because you guys are like my YouTube family, right? And I've got nothing to hide. I told you about my minimum wage too, right? So I was like, okay, let's do it. And they said that, when can you start? So I was scheduled at No Frills for the week. So I told them that from next Monday I can start. Okay, so they said, okay, let's go ahead, let's do it. And I went back to No Frills. I told my manager that I have to leave. He said, okay, it's okay, you can leave, because you got a go-to opportunity. But on my last day in No Frills, he told me that don't send in the resignation, don't get yourself off the list. I mean, you might need me someday in the future, I might need you someday in the future. So he kept me open for No Frills, right? But then I made a choice between No Frills and Burger Factory. So because Burger Factory, I got in with a reference, so I didn't want to leave that place. Plus, when you eat, when you work at a restaurant, you get to eat meals over there, so it saves you grocery as well. So I continued working at Burger Factory for the weekend, and I started my 9 to 6 job during the weekdays. And that job, that interview. Now, here's a tip, another tip. I see people who come here in Canada, who land, and their CV, their resume is shit. Like, they haven't worked on it. They land here and then they start sharing their resume with their friends and family and here who live here, professionals who live here, and then they tell them that, come on, man, you've written your resume in Pakistani rupees or in Indian rupees, convert that into USD dollars. And then they are converting their CVs. Then people come here with their personal information on their resume. When you share such a resume with a recruiter, with a company, with a hiring manager, they will simply know that, okay, this person knows nothing about Canadian job market, right? So don't share personal information like your date of birth and your language. How many languages do you know? Only, I mean, you should only indicate your languages if the job asks for it. Okay, otherwise you don't need to indicate your languages. Some people share their passport numbers, and when their passport is expiring, come on, man, you don't need that. Just your full name and your street address, if you're comfortable, or your postcode would do as well, with your city name and your province's name. Okay, like Mississauga, comma, ON for Ontario, right? That's it. You don't need to write Canada in your address, right? Because everybody knows that Mississauga is in Canada. And your number, your phone number, you can write +1 in the start of that phone number. But if you start your phone number with, let's say, 647, which is the common phone number here in GTA, if you start your number with 647, everybody's got to know that it is obviously +1. I mean, nobody dials +1 when you're calling somebody in Canada, right? So this is another tip. So your full name, your phone number, your street address. These are the 3 things that you need. And then another thing that is missing on those people's resume is the designation that they are looking for. Okay, So another tip for that designation is, because this is like the title of your CV, like for example, let's say sales manager. Okay, but if you're unsure about your designation, or if you're open for various opportunities, then you can write, let's say supply chain and marketing and management, and you can write 3 things over there, and you can say that expert in these 3 things, right? Expert in these 2 things. If you're unsure about your designation, that's what you can do. Plus, obviously, another tip that is, people will hate me for it, but trust me, when you come to Canada, then you have to step down. Okay, so if you were a senior manager in your country, and you come here to Canada as a new PR, then you have to step down. Okay, take it like think for it in a way that, okay, for the first year I have to work at an entry level, let's say, in that company, and then I will get myself promoted to the senior manager level. So you have to step down. If you are not willing to step down, then you will complain that Canada is not employment friendly and everything is so exhausted here. No, it's not like that. Be ready to step down. Okay, next up, the resume. They just simply write down their job role, like their job description, on their thingy, on their resume. Don't write that. Everybody knows what a sales manager is supposed to do, right? So write your achievements. What did you achieve? Write numbers. Which problem did you solve? What is your contribution to that company? Write these things. Okay, and then take out unnecessary information, like which city, like if you worked in let's say Faisalabad, Pakistan, or let's say Chennai, India, then you don't need to write that. Just skip that information, right? If somebody asks you, then they can ask in the interview, but no need to write that up front, right? So skip that. Just write your company name, the year, the month and year that you started working, then that you ended working, and who did you report to. This is an important tip. Who did you report to in that position? Because, for example, if you reported to let's say a departmental manager, and if you reported to the company director, so this will give the hiring manager an idea about how comfortable you are working with the higher ups. So always write a line, single line, that reported to that manager. Okay, reported to the director directly, reported to the CEO, CFO, whatever. Okay, so this is another one. Then next up, I would say, after starting my job, let's continue the life story, the life update that I was sharing. After starting the job, 9 to 6, it was a close by job in Mississauga, so it takes me about 40 minutes door to door from my home to the office, 40 minutes. So I leave and the bus timing matches so perfectly that I arrive right at 3 minutes past 9 a.m. Right, that's my everyday's time. Then I clock in, and this is a proper company. They're the biggest wholesaler of cell phones and accessories in Canada. They're the biggest distributor, and they have their own accessories brand. They sell all kind of phones, like the pre-owned, the used phones, and the brand new ones, and then they sell their iPhones and their Samsungs and everything. They're the biggest distributor in Canada, and it's such a big company with such a huge, massive inventory. So I'm lucky that I got an opportunity in this company, and it is giving me hands-on experience in what I used to do in Pakistan. Like I was in B2B, so here it is B2B as well. I'm not dealing with B2C or the end consumers. I'm dealing with other businesses. Then jobs here, it's a lot of reporting. you have to be computer savvy, tech savvy. You need to know how to use Excel. You need to use how to use the Google Workspace, like Google Cloud, Google's Drive, Google Sheets, then Google Docs, right? Because everything should be on the cloud, because those files, they're usually shared with your managers. So make sure that you know these things. If you want admin work, if you want office work, if you want inventory work, if you want sales, marketing, then you need to be tech savvy. It's not only for the IT people, right? And if you know these things, then showcase them when you're on your job, because when you showcase your unique selling point, then you'll get a salary raise. Like, why would you get a salary raise if you're doing what you were hired to do? They already decided your salary. You already agreed to that salary, that okay, I will do this in this money. Now why would you get a salary raise after like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? It's only when you add value to the company, you bring something extra to the company, then they will raise your salary, and that will be well deserved for you as well. You wouldn't feel bad about it. So these are a few things that I wanted to talk to you about. Now, current routine is that I work weekdays I work at that wholesale distribution, and on the weekends I work at that fast food joint, and I resigned from No Frills, and this is how it is going on. And my G2 is booked for 6th of March. I failed my G exam, but I'll make another video because I have a lot of complaints about that. So I will share that in a separate video, because this video has gotten very long. And if you stayed till the end, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that you watched this video till the end, because I tried to share whatsoever experience I have in Canada with you guys, and I hope that you learned something, maybe a thing or two from this video. So with these words, this is Ali Iftikhar, and I'm hoping great things are coming your way.